We still in morning, so good morning.
Good morning.
Let me start off with this. Life's most present and unique question is, what are you doing for others? It's one of Martin Luther King's sayings, and I grew up in that era. I'm Rochelle Bilal. I wear a lot of hats. I'm representing the National Black Police Association, which I am the vice chair of that organization. I'm also the president of the local chapter of the Black Police Association, which is called the Guardian Civic League in Philadelphia. I am a retired, honorably, like Cheryl said, 27-year Philadelphia police officer out of Philadelphia. So basically working in this institution for 27 years, which is all my life, if you get my drift. And being a police officer in Philadelphia is unique in itself. I don't know when I became an advocate. I think I was an advocate before I even got on the force. Because in my neighborhood, we didn't like cops. But some people convinced me, which was those who started the Guardian Civic League in 1957, was recruiting for people that looked like me to come on the force. Because they filed a lawsuit against the city. And therefore, they was recruiting people that looked like me to do the police job. Other hats, I am also the secretary of the Philadelphia branch of NAACP. So an advocate was childhood to me in reference to standing up for people. I didn't become one. I was in an academy causing all kinds of havoc in reference to how they treated people that looked like me. So when I got on the streets, my instant name became Angela Davis, because I wouldn't allow anybody to do anything in front of me that wasn't right. I didn't care whether they wore a blue uniform, black uniform, whether they wore stripes, whether they had bars. It didn't matter to me. You were just not going to do it in front of me. DeLacy called me crazy. No, I just didn't care about what they planned to do with me, because I had a higher being taking care of me, so I wasn't scared of nobody. And if you asked the Fraternal Order of Police, I went up in their meeting and said, I'm not scared of none of y'all, and as long as I'm a member, I'm going to say what I have to say. And so therefore, that's the shoulders that I stood on. DeLacy grabbed me in 1997 into a meeting with them at a National Black Police Association meeting, which got me involved with the National Black Police Association. And I've been in and out of that organization, and now I'm the vice chair of it. Here's what in Philadelphia does in reference to you speak out. I'm just like an average police officer. Let me tell you, I ain't never been blue. And I said that from the day I walked in the police academy. I ain't never been blue. I've always been black, and I try to teach my officers that you may wear a blue uniform, sometimes you may drive a blue car, but I ain't never seen blue anywhere in my blood, or in my skin, in my attitude. I ain't never seen blue. You work with people that are your colleagues, but you're not blue. You're black. And when they come to me saying we all blue, I just have to lay into them and take my medication, because that holds me back from dealing with folks that say that they are. Just to make a long story short, there was a website that Philadelphia police officers had called Dome Lights. You can look it up.
Oh, what?
Dome Lights.
Yes.
Dome Lights was a website that police officers went on to rant and raid racist attacks against people of color, whether they was police, whether they was community, whether they was children. And they would do it on the job, right in front of black cops. We got a whim of it in the organization. We monitored, that means we printed out everything for a year. Then I called the law group up and gave it to the lawyers, and they monitored for a year. I was at a convention in New York, the NAACP National Convention, when the white officers on the job posted some nasty messages about black children. And these was the African-American kids that wanted to go to a swim club out of their neighborhood, and they was called monkeys. The white cops posted monkeys, all kinds of names in reference to our children on the website, and that's when I got to call can you get back to Philadelphia? We got to do a press conference. We ready to file a lawsuit against the city. And so I quit at Exceller, back there, did the press conference, then went back to the NAACP convention as doing the business that I was doing. Once that lawsuit was filed, my life was threatened. They was told that I should be raped outside of the AIDS clinic.
Yep.
The Philadelphia Police Department claimed that they were protecting me in my house, but I told them that I was a card-carrying member just like most people. And then I can articulate just how I dealt with you when you came up on my step. And so therefore I put cameras around my house, and the Nation of Islam protected me and my daughter.
Wow.
And so therefore we speak out on issues, and as officers you are going to feel some retaliatory from your department, from people that even look like you and people that don't. But in my life earlier on, I knew that there was somebody bigger than me watching me. And so therefore I didn't care what retaliatory measures they were going to take. I just wasn't going to deal with it. So for 27 years I worked on the police department. I did 8-hour shift. I did rotating. I never took a tip job that was offered to me hands over foot. I didn't do slide time. When they left, I stayed 8 hours. And really never been disciplined because I went by their book. So if they felt as though that they was going to discipline me, they better have did it really well because I already knew what the book said. And so I studied the FOP bargaining unit book, and I studied the directives of the Philadelphia Police Department, so therefore I knew them. And the attack was not going to be necessary. I am glad to be a part of this coalition because this is way overdue. When you can leave a department, they are very much afraid of you after that because they know the knowledge that you have and what you can do in reference to being an expert witness in reference to racism in these departments around the country. You're right. The system does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's our turn to change that system. And this is well overdue. I say thank you for inviting me into the coalition. I have no problem getting where I need to go. I tell people every time you see my name in the media, trust me, I get paid. So we can stand together and get this done, and we're not going to stop until it does. Thank you.
Yeah.